Now, I could call this next segment Cowboys and Israelis. I could, but I'm not going to. Red Steagall is a country singer, songwriter, poet, and music executive who gave artists like Reba McEntire a start in the business. He is the official cowboy poet of Texas, and he's an amazing human being. I love so many of his powerful poems, but one that brings a tear to my eye every time I hear it, and that I wish every person who has a job would take to heart, is a recitation that I've asked him to perform today. Would you please join me in welcoming Red Steagall with Ride for the Brand.
Thank you, Governor. His skin looked like leather. He walked with a limp and talked with a slow Texas drawl. His knuckles were knotted. His right thumb was gone. Said a stud bit it off late last fall, but we knew he was lying. We'd watched him dally it up, but it ain't healthy to call him a liar. It was Saturday night before the wagon went out, and he is setting our new kid on fire. And we'd all heard his stories about places he's been, and we think that Jake's kind of strange. He looked over at me and said, I'm schooling this boy about the unwritten laws of the range, and the kid was enthralled, kind of like in a trance. Jake sensed that he had a good grip. He straightened up, hitched his pants, took a drink of cold beer and turned around with his hand on his hips, and he said, son, a man's brand is his own special mark. It says, this is mine. Leave it alone. If you hire out to a man, ride for his brand and protect it like it was your own. Mr. Wagner come out here in 1903. This country was sagebrush, mesquite trees, and sand, and he carved him this ranch out of blood, sweat, and guts. Be proud that you ride for his brand. If you hired out to string barbed wire, build him a fence. It don't matter if it's 4 or 5 strands. Just remember, it was you who asked for the job. Don't bitch when you ride for this brand. Mr. Wagner don't hold with complainers. He'll fire one before he can quit. If you don't like our outfit, head down the trail and find a horse that your saddle will fit. But if you get up early, catch your own bronc, show the boss that you're making a hand, Mr. Wagner will be there to cover your bets as long as you ride for his brand. He said the winter I spent at the Sixes, we had a man at the old Taylor place who rode up on some hiders a skinning a cow and squared off at them scamps face to face. Now, he could have rode off and never looked back, but he wasn't that kind of man. We found him in Ash Creek, shot all to hell. No Kona Joe died for the brand. Well, we know the old man tells a windy or two, like the one about losing his thumb, and No Kona was killed in a bar in Fort Worth by the demons in a bottle of rum. But I got to thinking about what he had said, and the more of it I understand, the more I believe we'd be all better off if more people would ride for the brand.
You know, Red, every time I hear you do that, I love it the more.
Thank you.
I really wish that every person who ever had a job would understand what it means to take pride in their job and to do it well. And that's really what that's about.
Well, thank you. That poem came from a time I spent at Wagner Ranch when the family still owned the ranch, and we were out in an old camp. And I listened to them talk, and they were talking about the brand this and the brand that. And I thought they really are dedicated to who they work for. And a man named Jimmy Patterson was the wagon boss. He said, you know, boys, those are our cattle. We're the ones that calve them, we doctor them, we feed them, we make sure they're healthy, we send them to market. Those are our cattle. The family gets the money, but those are our cattle. And I thought, boy, he truly means riding for the brand. And there was a big fire going in the fireplace, and there was a gentleman sitting over there that had been in that camp 41 years by himself. He couldn't hear it thunder, but he was sitting over grinning. When the cowboys would grin, he'd laugh when the cowboys would laugh. And I thought if anybody ever in the world ever rode for the brand, Paul Whitley rode for the brand. And I walked out on the edge of that cliff on a cold December night and wrote that poem in honor of that young man.
I still love it every time I hear it. I want to also ask this. You've had a remarkable personal career in music and songwriting, but you've launched a lot of people's careers. You've had an unselfish way of finding talent and helping to bring it to the forefront, including great superstar Reba McEntire. How did you recognize in someone like Reba a talent when she was just singing at a rodeo when you first heard her?
Well, Mr. Justin used to provide a room for all of us after the rodeos, and we'd sit up there all night long and sing cowboy songs. And her mother brought her up there, and she sat her down beside me, and she started singing harmony with me. And I thought, this is that little girl that was singing the national anthem. And she had blown me away with her control of her voice, and her everything was bell tone perfect. I was just so impressed with her. And I had just written a couple of songs that I thought I needed a girl to demo, so I invited her and her mother to come to Nashville, and we did a demo on those songs. And it took a long time because those were the days when girls didn't sell records and they didn't sell tickets. So nobody wanted just another girl singer, but this girl was something exceptionally special. And I'm not a genius, I didn't, you know, but I could hear that she had total control. And we worked at it, and in the fall we got her a record deal. And she changed country music for women.
Well, you know, I think she sold a few tickets and a few albums. I think she's done all right, and she wouldn't have done it without you, and we're all glad that you did.
Well,
Red Steagall, thank you.
Thank you.
We love you. I want to make sure that you go to Red Steagall's website. Find out about all things Red Steagall, including his TV show called Somewhere West of Wall Street and the annual cowboy gathering that he has this October.